At one point in your life, one of your loved ones is going to be in the hospital. Maybe it's for a bad cold, maybe it's for a pregnancy, maybe it's for a gunshot wound. Whatever it's for, you're more than likely to go through the feeling of having someone you love ripped away from you. Imagine you're going through this stress and your doctor informs you that the life-saving medication that your loved one needs is out of reach. Imagine being the doctor that has to tell you that they can't help you. This is what's happening in thousands of hospitals right now. Drug shortages have run rampant in recent years, especially in the current pandemic, due to unethical price spikes and fixing by pharmaceutical companies. Some life-saving medications have become out of reach for many families in America. Civica RX aims to combat drug shortages and out-of-reach prices. They create stable supplies of life-saving medication so that families will never be out of reach. For families to be in reach of life-saving medications, Civica RX needs the support of donations and volunteers. I urge you to support Civica RX in its pursuit to create stable supplies of essential drugs. I've been interested in the barriers to treatment for years, as my grandmother and other family members have struggled with the high cost of medication. I've done research on the cause of high costs in healthcare and the solution that Civica RX provides. In this speech, I will discuss the drug shortage problem, how it comes about, and then I will detail Civica RX and its impact on ending drug shortages. Life-saving medications have been facing shortages that made it out of reach for patients. Unfortunately, drug shortages are commonplace in hospitals currently. Every day at Intermountain Healthcare, we manage more than 100 drug shortages. Most of them are generics, said Dr. Mark Harrison, President and CEO of Intermountain Healthcare, in the New York Times article by Reed Abelson. As of April 7, 2021, there are 159 drug shortages, according to the Federal Food and Drug Administration. You might be asking yourself, how could this happen? Surely someone would be able to find a solution for this, as it's a huge problem. Well, unethical pharmaceuticals have made it nearly impossible to be solved. Pharmaceutical companies working with Wall Street found a way to make big cash at the cost of struggling families. They use unethical tactics like price fixing and monopoly power to drive out any competition and increase prices. Pharmaceutical companies buy up generic essential medicine and increase the price exponentially. A notorious example of this is former hedge fund manager Martin Shkreli, who increased the price of essential drug Daraprim to $750 a tablet in 2015 from the original price of $13.50. Pharmaceutical companies have also been working together to raise prices of drugs or price fixing. An example of this is Apotex, who, according to the New York Times article published May 7, 2020, admitted to the Justice Department of working with competitors to maintain and fix the price of cholesterol medication so that the companies can increase their profits at the expense of families. Now you may ask, how do we make sure families will never be out of reach of life-saving medications, and that if the pharmaceutical companies have been so ruthless and unethical with their tactics abusing the system? You create your own pharmaceutical company. Tired of not being able to help families at the hands of Big Pharma, a group of hospitals created their own nonprofit pharmaceutical company, Civica RX. The lack of competition in some of the generic drug markets leads to the shortages and price manipulation I discussed earlier. Civica RX will introduce direct competition to these markets, which will help with drug shortages and not allow Wall Street to manipulate the market. To combat Big Pharma's power to manipulate the prices, They're having their hospitals agree to long-term contracts that ensure stability over fluctuating prices, according to the NPR article by Alison Kojak. With the contracts, hospitals won't buy from Big Pharma, making it impossible for them to manipulate the market. In a statement, the FDA has vowed to prioritize companies like CivicRx that promote stability in the markets and focus on the well-being of patients. This model has worked as CivicRx has seen success. According to Forbes, CivicRx now serves more than 1,200 hospitals. It also has added Kaiser Permanente to its ranks, with one of the largest health systems adding power and their investment to the nonprofit. It now provides a stable supply of 20 generic medicines and has delivered 11 million vials of medicine to patients. How the drug market currently works is exposed to unethical companies' abuse of the supply of essential drugs. By supporting CivicRx, you can help combat drug shortages and the abuse of the market. Don't let the slimy hands of Big Pharma and Wall Street snatch on to life-saving medication supplies so no family is out of reach of life. Thank you.